What is up? Um, I'm hoping everybody is having a good day, and it has been a long time um, since I have donned the platform Crowder Speaks Live for a while. I'm gonna hopefully play background music. It's a song I wrote. Um, I'm not sure how I'm gonna turn it down because I really don't know how using the feature that it has on here. So I'm not sure what my volume is to the music, but hopefully everybody is doing good. Um, Seem like I got some features going on here that I'm testing out, and hope everybody's doing good. So I put in the title "Welcome Back," and it's really not a welcome back. It's just I really haven't really felt like really doing lives and doing much of anything in terms of the media platform. I must admit, it has been a journey actually just to get back to wanting to do this platform at this particular time. If you're on, give me a shout out, say hello, give me your name, and let me know who you are. But like I said, this has been a really, I have had it tough, I should say, the last probably 4 to 5 months. And I had really lost my enthusiasm, I should say, of really wanting to work hard to build the production company that God has given me, which is Music 110 Productions LLC. And sometimes you reach a point in life where sometimes you just don't feel like pushing that hard. You don't really feel like having to put in the work sometimes. Sometimes, if you've been like me, I've been working since probably the age of 12. I think maybe earlier than that. And I've been working a long time. And I think when I hit a certain age, I don't know, I just don't feel like the putting in the work and the grind that it takes to build something. And when you build something from where you're building something from the ground up and you're literally doing it by yourself and literally putting in, you got to do the audio, you got to do the graphics, you got to do your own advertising, you got to do your own videos, as you can tell, you got to do your own background, you got to add your music, and you got to do your own everything. It is a lot. And as I said before in one of my lives, is that I do computers. I'm a kind of an assistant engineer slash IT specialist, and so I work with these computers all day, and so I don't necessarily want to come home and jump on a computer and go right into doing this platform. I miss it though. I miss the ability to reach out to a lot of people who have watched this platform before. And I do apologize. I'll be honest with you. It's just life. Um, just life, to be honest with you. Just really haven't been. And what it is that, sometimes you're trying to find your focus. You're trying to find your purpose and trying to find what it is you need to do and should do. And I got encouraged this week. Hopefully, this will encourage you. Is that we do have to break out. Um, and a lot of times we get in our own way because a lot of times we know what to do. We have the plan and what to do. We know how to get there, The problem is we lose the confidence and we lose our self-esteem, and then a lot of times we just digress. I have to admit, the last 4 to 5 months, I have digressed from wanting to just kind of step out and do the things that I know that God has gifted me and anointed me to do. And the other part is too is sometimes the people around you, good or bad, and sometimes it's not their fault, even family. They just don't necessarily understand at times what to do to push you, or to encourage you to continue. Sometimes I even say, as a husband and as a father, a lot of times you're so caught up into doing for other people and doing for everyone else, you lose the ability to even want to do for yourself. And what happens is, and it's in the word, Jesus said, well, where should I lay my head? Meaning he's blessing people, he's opening up blinded eyes, he's feeding the 5,000 the fishes and loaves. And he says, well, where do I go to rest? Where do I go to get encouragement? Where do I go to seek that? And one of the things that the Lord encouraged me is that he says that I made certain people are made to be able to carry what it is necessary for other people. And at times it's not fair that you have to carry more burden than the people around you. But sometimes God has to anoint you to do so that other people can be able to make it and to be able to survive. And then the unfair part at times, and I can say it too, unfair is when you get depleted and when you get to your zero, when you get to your had enough moments, you then have to dig down deep in your own bag, I should say, or in your own knowledge or spirit. As Paul says, you got to preach your own self happy. And sometimes people are not just going to encourage you. They're not going to push you. They're not going to give you the attaboy you're looking for. They're not going to give you the necessary, you can do it. I know you can do it. No. Sometimes you got to preach to yourself. You got to encourage yourself. That's what Donald Lawrence wrote that song. You got to encourage yourself in the Lord. You got to push yourself. And I was telling my wife recently, man, that's not easy. 10, 15 years ago, and I'll share this with you all. 10 or 15 years ago, when I left my job with a certain bank here in the city, the Lord spoke to me and says, I want you to go back to school. And at that time, I'm in my early 40s. And when the Lord spoke that to me, I didn't know what to do. I literally was walking. And if you know where this bank is, it's way up the hill. And it's got to be a good 7 to 8 miles away from my home. But I decided to walk. I didn't want to wait on a cab. I didn't want to wait on my wife. I wanted to walk. And I was walking down that hill, and the Lord says, I want you to go back to school. I went and applied for school. I applied for one, and I ended up getting accepted into another school. And what God reminded me was, I had a determination that and I said this to my wife, I love my wife and my kids, but that determination was, I'm not doing it for them. I'm going to do this for me. I love everybody. I love my family. I'm going to be there for you. But there are certain times where you have to make decisions in the best interest of you. And it's not saying to the people around you, hey, I don't care about you. I don't love you. It just simply means I need to take care of me. And when I made my mind up to go back to school. I went back to school. I went back to college, actually. It was a bucket list situation that I wanted to go back to college. I didn't even think I could. I didn't even think I was smart enough at this point. I didn't think I was talented enough. I thought my life and my having 5 boys and a wife was just too much. I wasn't going to be able to do it. But when God spoke to me and told me to do it, I trusted God that He would give me the tools and give me the way to make it. And sure enough, as God is my witness, ladies and gentlemen, I made it 3 years, 3 years in college, and I graduated with 2 associate's degrees in cybersecurity and in applied sciences. You can't tell me that you can't do it. It's just a matter of you making up your mind. I'm going to do it. What's up, Chris? Hey, I'm gonna tell you. So I understand that praying for your strength. Yes, and it's true. My sister. This is my sister right here. We went to school together back in the day, and I always get encouraged by her because she always puts a lot of positive things on her page, and it's so good to see the people that I grew up with do that. But that is so true. She says, so I understand that praying for your strength and what is this? Perseverance. You got this. That is correct. That is correct. That is correct. Truesdale. How about that, man? You going back? I'm not even gonna tell you my age. At Truesdale. Ooh. Talking about yeah. And then Coolidge. Come on now. We going back too far. And I love you, my sister. I get a chance to see what the Lord has done for you, and I'm proud to see the accomplishments that you have done in life. To see your children, and to see you still here. A lot of our friends, Chris is not here today. A lot of them have gone on. A lot of them, some of them didn't even make it the way that we've made it. But it's been the grace of God that's given us the ability to see this day again. And that is the blessing. But I want to say that I made up my mind that I could not let nothing, and I mean nothing, keep me from my destination. And I graduated with now I was 40 in my 40s, and this is true, it's on the record. Uh, I graduated with a 3.5 GPA in cybersecurity. If you know cybersecurity, you understand that you're taking math. You're going to be in calculus, algebra 2, 1. You're going to be doing a lot of science and math, programming. And in my 40s, I did not think I had the ability or the confidence. But God gave me, not only did He give me the confidence, listen, He gave me the financial plan to be able to take care of my family and not have to work for 3 years and still pay our bills, our rent, pay my tithes, pay what I need to pay to God and to the church ministry. As well as a musician, I was getting, subsidized for playing in gigs. So whenever I needed money, God always would have somebody call me and say, hey, we need you to play for this, or we need you to play for that. There's your extra money. There is your extra provision. And one of the things about God is He's not schizophrenic. He don't make mistakes. He don't forget. And when we give everything we have to Him, He gives everything He has to us. I'm going to tell you how incredible. Not only that, listen, that was one instance. And the other instance was my health. I had surgery. And when I went in, and they were wheeling me into the operating room, and they were wheeling me past where my wife and my children were, and my twins were just born. And the lady was talking to me, and she was speaking to me, and and she was asking me about my kids. I was already nervous. The truth be told is I didn't think I was gonna make it. I had made my arrangements. I had set my will in order. I had put things in Melita's hands. I had already talked to the church, to the pastors. I had already set the plan in order that just in case something happens to me, my wife would not have to be scrounging around trying to figure out what my passwords were, insurances, and all of that kind of stuff. And I didn't want her to have to deal with that, especially when you have children. And sometimes when we have these surgeries, we just think we're coming out. That ain't necessarily the case. And so the nurse and them wheeling me to the operating room, and the lady was talking to me about my twins, and I got shaky. I was about to break down and cry because I didn't want to answer her questions and talking about my my twins, and I'm thinking I'm not gonna ever see them again. And she was wheeling me into the room, and she said to me, she said, "Mr. Crowder, I want you to know that my name is Faith, and I'm going to be with you in the operating room the whole time." Let me tell you something. At every single turn, at every single point, God never leaves us alone. He never turned his back on us. And as much as we do that to people, and as much as we do that to human beings, as much as we do that even with our own loved ones, God never turns his back. He always seems to be there. And after that surgery, I got up off that table. Thank the Lord, I was able to see my wife and kids. But I had determined that I had to turn my health around. I could not continue in the health situation that I was in at the time. So I had decided, listen, I got to get this. I made a determination that, listen, I'm moving on. I got to do this. This is not for my wife and my children, but I need to turn my physical health around. And let me tell you something, and people will tell you here, I started, well, I was like Forrest Gump. It's kind of comical and funny, but it was the truth. I was kind of like Forrest Gump. I walked everywhere. I mean, I don't think I drove my car after that surgery probably maybe 10 to 12 times if I had to within a 1 to 2 year period, because I said I got to lose that weight. I couldn't keep that weight on me. I was uh, way too big. And I got there because of depression. I got there because I couldn't handle certain things, and I didn't realize how big I had gotten at the time. And I was like, man, it snuck up on me. It's like I was this size, and all of a sudden I didn't want to accept the responsibility. But I had determined in my mind, I'm not letting nothing. I mean, I walked to school for 2 years, what, 3 years. I walked back and forth to school. I took the bus. I would walk from the mall home. I would walk from the restaurant home. I would walk to Walmart. I didn't care. I decided that I'm not going to allow this to have the best of me. And I decided that. And listen, let me tell you something. I literally, basically, nobody couldn't even know who I was at one point. I had lost so much weight. I looked like Chris can remember. I looked like I did back in the day. I wasn't bad looking. I had a nice little cute face, nice little cute smile. You know what I mean? I wasn't all that bad, but I looked like I was back in my junior high school days. But it was my health. It was my determination. But then guess what? And I'm gonna give you a what. What happened is my health then gets back to a unhealthy situation. Not because, you sitting there and you're doing something to hurt your body or hurt yourself. It's just that when you get older, you don't feel like going out to work out every day. You don't feel like getting up and going out to, take care or work out. And I lost my mojo, if you will. I lost I kind of lost the motivation. Good word. The motivation to want to do the things I did 10 years ago to get to my result. And recently I realized, man, the older you get, the harder it is to motivate yourself to get to your destination. But remember, the Bible says what? Paul says, I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling. That means that we don't continuously sit and be idle. We got to press our way to the goals and to the opportunities. That means we actually have to move. That means we actually have to get into the areas and the places where we're motivated, where we're pressing. And one of the things that the preacher man preached to me this week, and I'm telling you, thank God for the blessed word. He preached something, and he really did say it, is that sometimes really the people around you can be at times negative. Negative in a sense of not giving you the proper motivation to get to where you need to go. Sometimes people are just holding on to what you used to be, or people are holding on to what you did 3 years ago. And I noticed that up in this area where I'm currently located, people hold grudges. I don't know what it is. You can make one mistake, you can do one thing wrong up here, and they will just hold a grudge against you. I don't know what that is about, but it's something that I don't necessarily subscribe to. I think that people make mistakes, and unless it's something super egregious, or unless it's something that is really, really damaging, hurtful, we have the ability to forgive, and we have the ability to move on. And that's part of the issue, and that's part of the reason why I shared this in terms of getting back to Crowder Speaks Live and getting back to this platform. It's not easy to get on here, and you have to talk, and you have to come up with a topic, and you have to come up with something to say, and you have to be able to articulate your words and talk and be able to share and be vulnerable. But when I talked about, really the determination that you're going to have to get where you need to go, you got to get there, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to tell you the truth is that you're going to have to work. I told my oldest son, the Bible is right. It says faith without works is dead, which meaning faith cannot work and operate if you don't put in the work for faith to be able to accomplish what it is set out to do. Which means if you got faith to pass your college courses, then you got to do the work so that faith can kick in. But you don't put in the work to pass your class, faith cannot operate. It cannot operate just as an idle situation, just closing our eyes and saying, we hope and pray that we pass our class, and you've done no studying. You don't get your work in on time, or, you don't do the necessary things to show the professors how serious you are about your work and about what you need to do to accomplish your goals. So when you put in the work, faith kicks in. That's why I was able to close my eyes and go to sleep in that surgery, because God sent this lady named Faith in the room. I'm telling you, man, there's always been 2 instances in my life, or 3 maybe, instances in my life where I'm telling you, I know that there is a God. God knew that I wouldn't be able to handle having, and let me share this with you. I had never had a major surgery like that in my life. And God knew I was nervous. God knew I needed reassurance. And He sent a lady named Faith, a nurse named Faith, with me into the operating room. What an awesome God we serve. I don't know what's going on. To be honest with you, today, it's like I've been weeping all day. I don't know. There just seems to be a lot of sadness and a lot of things that people are dealing with. And it just seems like I'm reacting to the spirit of what's going on in this city. There's a lot of people grieving too. And shout out to Peter Spencer, to First Lady Rachel, um, to her and her family in the loss of her brother. I knew her brother. I didn't know him well, but I knew of him. He was always kind and nice every time I spoke to him here in Utica. Always so kind. We always shared and hugged, and when we seen each other in church or seen each other in the street. So my heart goes out to Miss Rachel on today and to the family of Peter Spencer Church today. They are grieving today. They are grieving the loss of their brother, their cousin, their family member, and to the Hawkins family, because he was a Hawkins. So to the Hawkins family, my love and condolences go. I know quite a bit of Hawkins family here, and so my love and goes out to you and to everyone who is grieving. To everyone who is grieving, I miss my mother, Sharon Arnetta Crowder Staples. I miss her dearly. Every time I say I miss her, her birthday is November the 14th, 1951. Every time I think about time, I always see 11/14. And God, that's a reassurance to me that my mother is watching and she is keeping watch over me. So I'm appreciative of heaven still watching, God still protecting me, and God still keeping me in the center of His will. I'm not going to be too long because I didn't expect to be this long on here, but hopefully what I've said tonight will encourage you. But I want to also say is that there are some great things coming. I have decided to really press the envelope, if you will, and to really reach out to some people that I really want to do some production work with, music, writing. I do want to say this. And the one thing the preacher man said this week, and I know this to be true, is that we are all made differently to do different things. Our gifts, our anointings, and what we do is not the same. But one of the things that I find I concerning, especially in the gospel music industry, or I would say the church ministry, is that we have a hard time working with each other. It just seems to me that we just want to do whatever it is we want to do, and we want our name to be big. We want people to call us great. I didn't grow up that way. I'm gonna be honest. I grew up in a Mecca ministry. I grew up in probably one of the best, if not the best, musical anointed churches of Church of God in Christ of all time in New Bethel Church of God in Christ, Washington, D.C. And I'm not ashamed to say it. I mean, we were spoiled. I mean, organist after organist, drummer after drummer, bass players, singers. I mean, I grew up with the best musicians. Washington, D.C. jurisdiction. I mean, call the names. I mean, it was so many great musicians and singers. I could not help but to absorb all of that greatness, all of the things that I've learned, and all of the opportunities I got a chance to see. I get a chance to see the great Winky Clark on the organ multiple times, being able to listen to her live. I got a chance to see the incredible James Moore sing under the anointing, Betty Nelson, Sarah Jordan Powell. Come on, the list goes on. Wilmington Chester Mass Choir, Hezekiah Walker when they first came out, James Hall, Worship and Praise when they first came out. The O'Neill twins. Now, some of y'all too young to remember the O'Neill twins, Rance Allen. I mean, the list goes on. But how about New Bethel? How about Professor Ricky Payton? Senior, to me, he will always be number one organist for me of all time. Period. It's just I know there are organists that have come up today and that has done their fair share, but to me, Ricky Payton was the epitome of what we organists wanted to be. Now they definitely Twinkie. It really set the bar, but Ricky Payton really made an impression on us musicians there at New Bethel and really showed us what a real minister of music was. And to all the drummers, to Johnny Andrews, who's no longer here, to Michael Douglas Burner, my best friend, who's no longer here, to Aaron Spears. I can't even hardly get that out of my mouth without saying that Aaron Spears, the great Aaron Spears, is not here, who was part of the Washington, D.C. jurisdiction, who his grandmother was the supervisor of women for the Washington, D.C. jurisdiction. His father is a pastor of the jurisdiction in Washington, D.C. Great man, Pastor Kenny Spears. What an awesome, kind-hearted pastor, caring father, caring, loving dad. To him, to his wife, to his children, man, I miss home. I miss the people. I miss what it meant to grow up, to be supportive of each other. I just was not used to that coming here. It's just not as supportive as I think we have an opportunity to really build something great in this city of Utica. But it does take a lot of uh, of of, of moving our egos aside, I should say. And we all have great gifts. How can we put those gifts together? How can we put those gifts? I appreciate one brother, and I'll probably end on this. One brother in one of our men's leadership sessions says you have to have a chief and you have to have Indians. And he says, listen, I don't want to be chief, but I love to be an Indian. How can I be a better Indian? Meaning, how can I be a better servant? Everybody can't be in charge. There has to be a leader and there has to be followers. But when you understand your role, understand what you are gifted and anointed to do, it doesn't matter. I put myself in situations where I know I'm clearly a much better leader than the person in front of me. But that didn't matter. My job was to serve that leader. I have served quite a bit of leaders in this particular city and have humbled myself and helped them build ministry, helped them build churches, put music departments in their ministry, literally have given my own personal money out of my own pocket without any reimbursement whatsoever and never asked for money back and given money, given offerings. And I'm not talking about small offerings neither. I'm talking about buying drum sets. I'm talking about buying keyboards, organs. I literally put ministry and a church and a pastor on the back of my own shoulder. And it takes a lot to do that. But it does take a lot to simply say thank you. When a person gives you as much to help you build what you have, to help you build what you could not do on your own, it is nice to just say thank you for that. But let me just say this. If they don't say thank you, if they don't call your name in public, as most some leaders won't do, They won't acknowledge you or acknowledge what you've given. The song is right. Only what you do for Christ will last. And sometimes we have to have solace, peace with that particular process. God bless you all. I look forward to hopefully doing this again. This was good, actually. This was really good. I'm sorry it's so late. I know a lot of you are hopefully getting ready for church tomorrow. Hopefully, you'll get a chance to see this back, share this, like this if you can. And it would be grateful if you can. But if you don't, hopefully, you get a chance to listen to this. And hopefully, I've said some things to encourage you, my father's children. I appreciate you all. I want you all to have a great rest of your night. And I look forward to being able to share my life, my thoughts, and the things that have helped me overcome, help you to overcome as well. God bless you all. I look forward to seeing you all again next time.
Thank you.